Let's review the idea of point of view. We want to try to look at it in a different way. Point of view is the way the author chooses to tell a story. Point of view are the eyes he uses to see the story and then tell it. Here are some common terms that you will hear and see relating to point of view. A story could be told from the first person point of view. In first person point of view, the story is told through one of the characters who is in the story. The narrator is experiencing the story. Here is an example. An invisible hand grabbed me and pulled me off the ladder. I landed on my back on the gym floor with an oof. My head made a loud thud as it banged the floorboards. Here, the person telling the story is the actual person who is falling off of the ladder. It is not somebody seeing the event. We know that this is first person point of view because of the word I and my. It shows us that the person experiencing the story is telling the story. Another different but also common point of view is called third person. Third person point of view means that the story is being told by a narrator who is not in the story. They are telling it as if they are seeing it. Sometimes this narrator just tells it as they may see it on a screen. Sometimes the author gives the narrator the ability to know what the characters are thinking. Here is an example of third person. Sock's throat throbbed with purrs. He was especially happy when he could interrupt her work on the papers that she typed for students. Notice that this point of view, third person, uses the word he. You won't see the words I. Someone else is telling what Socks is doing. The reason that point of view is so important is that the story changes depending upon the narrator's perspective. Sock's throat throbbed with purrs. He was especially happy when he could interrupt her work on the papers that she typed for students. How can we tell who is telling this story? There are clues. Can you tell who is telling this story? This narrator is someone who is not in the story. Socks is not telling the story. It says he. This narrator is telling us what Socks is doing. We do know, however, how Socks feels. We know that he was happy. It does not say, I interrupted her work, so it is not first person. Because it tells us what Socks is doing and it uses the word he, this is third person point of view. We do know, however, that Socks is probably a cat. The words throbbed with purrs makes me think that Socks is a cat. Let's look at this same situation from a different point of view. Now let's look at this same situation and see how it may be told if it were told from first person point of view. My cat kept playing with the papers I was grading. I was getting so annoyed. It was clear that I would not get my grading done. In this case, the narrator, the person who is telling the story, is experiencing the story. This is probably the person that Socks was annoying. We know that it is first person because it uses the word my cat. I was getting annoyed. This is first person because the person experiencing the situation is the one telling about it. Let's look at an example of a text and decide from what point of view it is being told. Then we will also take a look at all the different things we can learn about the narrator based on clues within the text. It was a rhyme my mother used to whisper to me when I was a little girl. I could almost hear Mom's soft voice, a voice I haven't heard since I was 5. From what point of view is this being told? This is being told from first person point of view. The person telling about this event was the person who experienced it. I know this because it uses the words I. I could almost hear my mom's voice. I haven't heard since I was 5. Whispered to me. The pronouns me and I give me the clue that this is being told in first person point of view. The interesting thing about point of view is all of the things that we can learn about the narrator. For what do we know about the narrator? Well, we know that she is a girl because it says when I was a little girl. We know that she is older than 5, probably much older. How do I know this? Because it says a voice I haven't heard since I was 5. This implies that she is now older than 5. I can also infer that she liked her mom's voice. How do I know this? She says, my mom's soft voice. My mother whispered to me. To me, this implies that she liked the voice. She has fond memories of her mother. Again, the words soft voice, the rhyme that the mother whispered to her as a little girl, these all conjure up good feelings. Therefore, I can infer that she has fond memories of her mother. You can see how there are clues that tell us so much about a narrator based on the point of view.